I woke up this Monday morning thinking it's Zelda week. There's nothing but glory and rainbows on our horizon. The tears of the kingdom are about to be our tears. Just a few days away, and we are going to play, and then the internet shows violence. Nintendo is skipping their next direct. That is the big headline, and we've got all sort of insider reports, including some pretty official sounding data, and we got to go into all of this, what it means, and how that set things up for what the heck is on Nintendo's empty calendar. So good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. Let's rewind that a bit. It still is all glory and rainbows for Zelda week, and if you guys are pumped, I have tons of coverage. I got you guys covered. It's going to be an amazing time. If you need to download that big, chunky 16 gigabyte Zelda, I pulled out the master memory card. This is the Lexar Play card. It's the best memory card you possibly can put into your Switch. It comes up to 1 terabyte, so you could store like 100 copies of Zelda or something like that. I don't know. Calculator, pull it out, do it. But what you don't have a calculator for is clicking the link in the description down below. That helps out the channel and allows you to grab a perfect Lexar Play card. Love them, love the people at Lexar. Great people, great product. Check it out. Also, I posted a video on how to get Zelda for cheaper than $70. There's really great ways to do it. You don't have to pay $70. I'm not saying it's not worth $70, but you don't have to pay $70. On to today's news. All right, this is really interesting because we've been discussing what Nintendo's plans are for a while now. And I'd say that today is sort of the first significant real update in that journey. And not just like hypotheses, speculation, but we have some actual stuff happening. And this has started to really circle and spiral into a windstorm of what the heck is up with Nintendo. Now, I'm going to try to be like non-hyperbolic about this. I am going to try to just give you like the facts of it and then give you my take. I know some people are freaking out. I know some people are really doom and gloom. I know some people are really high in the sky, but we're going to try to keep it like honest and level here. I've noticed so many videos lately are just, I don't know. I feel like they're just, well, ugh. This started off with Andy Robinson. Who is Andy Robinson? He is one of the editors over at VGC, Video Games Chronicle, in the UK. He tweeted, I also heard a Sony showcase is happening in the usual late May, early June window. And a lot of people today have been talking about a May PlayStation State of Play, revealing new games, probably talking Spider-Man 2, yada yada. Apparently they are including Konami stuff, according to Andy, but it's the last sentence that we key in on. I'm not expecting Nintendo to do anything. Now you can see why Mount Doom is erupting. We knew Nintendo was skipping E3 even before E3 skipped itself. They said it didn't line up with their plans, and we've speculated on what exactly that means. Do they not have anything? Waiting? Do they have their own event? Andy Robinson himself is actually a guy who a few months back said Nintendo didn't have any big second half games. He walked that back a little bit, but at the time, it was a big story. IGN was talking about it, Andy Robinson was talking about it at VGC. Nintendo has no second half games. Then they had their Direct, they announced Pikmin 4, and they announced nothing else. And since then, it's been just all quiet on the Japanese front. We don't know what's happening with Nintendo beyond this week's Tears of the Kingdom and July's Pikmin 4. So now Andy coming in and saying, I'm not expecting Nintendo to do anything, has made a lot of shockwaves. Because I think a lot of us expected that in this June sort of summer window, we would get a Nintendo presentation of sorts. Now, this is backed up by Jeff Grubb, who you know as the guy who does get a lot of Nintendo things right, also got the Wind Waker Twilight Princess wrong, owned up to it, and was spot on about Metroid Prime Remastered. He says, I'm with Andy. I expect a series of smaller tweets and YouTube drops, if anything. But, big but here, like a big one. Unlike last year, that's just speculation. Thanks, Jeff. I think that's really important. Insiders, we take everything they say as like gold, right? It's kind of a meme at this point where someone will say, well, about that, and then people are like, oh my god, he's confirming 3D Mario. And it's like, no, they're people, they're talking. Not everything they say is some like passed along secret code, right? Sometimes it is, but usually it's not. I love that Jeff Grubb is saying it's just speculation. He's speculating based on what he's heard that Nintendo has nothing except smaller tweets and maybe a YouTube trailer drop. Now, how could this even be possible? Well, one thing you need to know is that these guys are pulling from sources, right? They don't work at Nintendo. They're not privy to Furukawa's calls. They don't know what Doug Bowser is, mwahahaing to all of his minions. They get information from sources, and those sources have to get information from Nintendo. If Nintendo has not made public their plans, if they have not scheduled a direct, if they have not sent out marketing materials, There's nobody to leak it to these guys. There's nobody for the insiders to pull from. They're not inside anymore because they don't have that information. Nintendo could be locking down the fortress in a way that makes it impossible for guys like Andy and Jeff to even know what's going on. And I want to point that out first and foremost because it could be as simple as that. They're not hearing anything, and that is why they expect Nintendo to not do anything. On the other hand, maybe by this time, Nintendo would have already started to get things going. They're not hearing anything, and so that leads them to believe that Nintendo won't have anything in the June typical window. But at the same time, my friends, Nintendo kind of told us that themselves. They said, we will not be at E3 this year because it doesn't line up with our plans. And that tells me that their plans were never going to be in June. Now, it's a bit odd because Nintendo does have an investors call coming up and they have nothing announced. They really can't go that much further beyond June without telling people what is up. They did say they're coming to Gamescom at the end of August, so I feel like now they have between Jeff and Andy's Naha in June window and Gamescom's August 27th window, they've got a little bit to do. They've got July and August to let us know. Now, what could they be doing? Why is it so mysterious? Remember, these dudes hear about stuff all the time. Jeff Grubb's even acknowledging that last year he heard about, they're doing smaller presentations. Remember, they had a Splatoon Direct, they had a partner showcase, they really spread things out. He's not hearing anything right now, and that's why he says it's speculation. Nintendo is behaving weirder than they ever have been, even on off years, even on pandemic years. And this is really important here. This is not Nintendo, being how they always are, a little bit murky. Maybe they do something small, maybe they're dumb, maybe they don't appease fans, maybe they just, finally release Hollow Knight Silksong and that's their big game. This is odd. Andy doesn't expect anything, but Jeff gives us the clarifying crystal that it's just speculation, because they truly do not know. Now, I'm going to bring in another piece of the puzzle that I don't know if many people have seen or are going to bring in. All right, this comes from Market Watch. All right, Nintendo is scheduled to report its fourth quarter results on Tuesday. Here's what you need to know. Market Watch says that Nintendo is expected to post a 57% drop in profit. A 57% drop in profit. Let's think about that. Half of their profit is gone. This does not make investors happy. This does not make shareholders happy. This is very, very not good, especially for a company that has nothing announced. Now, what does this all signify? To me, it really signifies new hardware. And I know, you're going to say, Zach, you're always talking about this, but look, trust me here. Jeff Grubb, Andy have not heard anything. They're just speculating, but they don't think anything's happening because they don't know anything. And now we have a 57% drop in profit. What is the main harbinger of new hardware? Drop in profit. You ride the wave as long as you can, and then boom, you got to bring in the new thing. There's not too much time to linger. As a company, we've seen what happens if you let your Wii U sit for too long. It really drops your stock, both physically, literally, and also just kind of in the minds of consumers, in the minds of gamers and fans. It really affects third parties. It affects probably retailers. There's a lot that goes on. You can't sit on a 57% drop in profit and an empty release schedule for long. What could be the saving grace? What could be the reason for all of this? I don't know how this doesn't end with new hardware soon. Maybe Nintendo announces it this year and it actually releases next spring. Same with the Switch release in March. Maybe they announce it late this summer and it comes out this holiday season. But there is something new. There is a reason Nintendo is being super cagey, and it's not just to announce ports. There's a reason Nintendo is being super cagey, and coupled with a 57% drop in profit and a complete lack of knowledge or insider information from the very leakers that we know have had this information in the past around these times, it's got to be something major. You don't go this lockdown to announce your Paper Mario remaster and your F-Zero port. I'm sorry, no shade to those fans and those genre or those franchises. I love them. I think those would be really fun games, and they may in fact be happening. But I bet that there is a Switch hardware, maybe games tied to that launch, and everything is under wraps. Now, the hard part here is we're probably going to have to wait. Nintendo is skipping their typical summer direct, and maybe their next direct is September, but I don't know how that can be possible. I've seen people throw around, hey, maybe they're just taking the summer off, they're going to resume with their normally scheduled September presentation, but you have games come at the end of August, and I don't think Nintendo is paying all that money to lug all their stuff to Europe with nothing to show. Is it just going to be a Tears of the Kingdom presentation? I guess perhaps. But I'm telling you, something's got to give. July is when Pikmin is out. We have a 57% drop in profit about to be announced, and no games on the horizon. They cannot sit in this mode for too long. Something will crack. Whether it's insiders actually starting to hear things, maybe the channels will begin to flow. Factory workers are going to leak something about hardware. We're going to hear something at the shareholders meeting addressing this profit drop and addressing the blank calendar. Nintendo is about to combust. And I don't think they're going to have a bad time about it. I think they're going to have a great time about it. I think Nintendo is being extra weird because they actually have super cool plans. I really don't buy the idea that Nintendo has nothing and they're going to sit here and just tell their investors, Metroid Prime 4 someday. Sorry we lost half your profits this past quarter. It seems like it's doom and gloom. It seems like it's a very weird summer. And in fact, it may be a very weird summer. We may not hear anything till July or August. I don't know for sure. Heck, there is a weird scenario where we don't hear anything until the September Direct. Maybe it's the first week of September. You now tie this in with the Nintendo Live stuff about no new announcements there. I really think, though, they're going to get it out sometime late summer. We may have to wait longer than most years, past the early June window where we normally see all the other announcements. And even though there's no E3, Summer Games Fest is going on. Seems like PlayStation's going to have a State of Play. Xbox has their showcase and their Starfield showcase. Nintendo may sit it out. Jeff Grubb thinks maybe they'll have a Twitter announcement, probably because they don't want to be left out of the conversation. But if they are truly holding back a supercharged shot into the video game industry, then they can wait. And we may not find out till July or August, but we will find out. And I really feel like this profit drop might be one of the best indicators of new hardware yet. Because besides speculation, besides gamers saying the Switch graphics stink, besides feeling like it's time, besides all of the rumors, you cannot ignore profit drops. That is something that doesn't last well in a company. You can't just sit on that. And if the Switch is at a point where it is profit dropping, where Nintendo isn't able to continue the momentum, you know that the next thing is around the corner. You really, really do. So let me know your take on this in the comments down below, everybody. I think this is fascinating. I think it's very, very interesting. I think it's super strange, but I think there's a very good reason for all of the mystery. I don't think this mystery is because Nintendo is just throwing in the white flag. I don't think they're throwing in the towel. I don't think they're saying, well, our profits suck and we got nothing. Just think about it. How does that make any logical sense? And in a way, the fact that nobody knows anything, insiders-wise, is better than them knowing something. Because if they knew something, that to me would indicate a small coasting plan. The fact that they know nothing means Nintendo is cooking. And there have been times where Nintendo has cooked, and boy, has it been delicious. So let me know what you think, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. And until next time, we'll be back way sooner than June or July or August. I'll see you tomorrow. Until that time, SwitchForce out.